Yo, what's going on, everybody? I know it's been a crazy year, even crazier from last year in some cases. But if you're here watching this and you made it to Halloween, so congratulations, I guess. Now, while most of you are out here dressed up like fucking a Krabby Patty and stupid shit like that, grown ass people dressing up as SpongeBob and all that. I've been really doing some tabs on the news, man. So if you're a parent, man, you gotta watch this shit, man. Like, this is crazy, bro. It's about this bitch in Florida.
Right now, the Orange County School District is facing a potential $1 million lawsuit.
It comes from a parent who was a steady volunteer at the school where her children attend. Watch News' Greg Fox reports she's no longer allowed to volunteer because of what she does for a living.
I would say that it's nobody's position to judge what anybody does in their private life.
Victoria Treese has 2 children at Sand Lake Elementary in Orange County. She's been volunteering for 5 years, but was told 2 weeks ago she could no longer donate her time and spend more time on campus with her kids. This is why. Her occupation, working in the adult entertainment industry. We're showing you images found on her public social media sites, not unlike what you might see at the beach. But she does have a private subscription site where she earns a living called OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Another parent sent images from that site to school administrators, leading to Treese's dismissal.
It's humiliating to have people judge you for something that when you feel like what you're doing isn't wrong, in a sense. I don't think that my job and what I do privately, that has no regards to anybody else in anybody else's world besides my own.
Her attorneys notify the district they intend to sue for at least $1 million.
God
What
damn.
authoritarian mentality allows somebody to point a discriminating
Who's this
finger
goof
at somebody and
ass
say,
nigga?
We don't approve of you and you can't be around children. That becomes frightening.
Treese passed
you
a
look like
background
you
check required under the district's
ain't supposed to be
Additions
around children.
volunteer registration site.
So
Nowhere
goof,
on the form we
Beethoven-looking
reviewed does
Bach-ass
it ask for a
motherfucker.
person's occupation. Once notified of an impending lawsuit, district officials have told Treese she can chaperone field trips, but may only supervise her own children. I reached out to the Orange County School District offices for any comment on this story and was told they don't comment on pending litigation.
Shut that shit
In Orlando,
down.
Greg Fox, West Junior.
Okay. Alright. I'm just gonna read through this shit here. Mother from Florida says she was told she could no longer volunteer. During a press conference this week, Mom Victoria told reporters whose children are ages 5 and 10 says she regularly helps organize activities at the school, but claims she was banned after the unidentified parent sent images from the... Okay, so that's a... So a parent reported another parent using OnlyFans, but that parent was also, I guess, a simp on OnlyFans. Nobody has the right to judge what other people do for a living, 30-year-old Treese said. I feel judged, and I feel isolated. Treese was accompanied by her attorney, Beethoven Bach, who said they plan to sue the school district for at least $1 million. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money that y'all know that the school ain't fucking got. If it's a public school. Neither the James nor the district immediately responded. I was humiliated and I should not, and no one else should be concerned about what another parent does. I just love spending time with my kids, and I have a great relationship with other parents and students. I bet you fucking do. According to Orlando, Treese alleges the school officials told her she can no longer volunteer on the 13th of October. However, she says she was never given a formal letter stating the decision. Just cut off. You need to cut it. Treese, who has been a member of OnlyFans for just 2 years. I mean, he's fucking 2 years. said she has since received support from other parents at the school. You know what, girl? If you want to do what you do and shake that ass, it ain't no one's business. Okay, let's read on here. 1 minute of my job a day is not my whole life. It's not my life of being a mom or being a parent, she told reporters. I think everybody's just floored. What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? Everyone's just fucking floored, man. Get down on the ground. Everyone's fucking down on the ground. I need people to be not floored. Okay, because they're like, we know you, we know who you are. That's what she said. OnlyFans has been a source of controversy for other moms with children in grade school. Mom Crystal Jackson of California told people earlier this year that her 3 sons were kicked up out of the Catholic school when administrators found out about her OnlyFans account. Along with her cuck husband, Jackson said she makes $500,000 a month from the subscription. $500,000 a month. I'm about to look this bitch up. According to WFLA, Trace claims school officials contacted her after they heard the lawsuit and told her she could join field trips, but could only chaperone her children. Okay. I can't leave comments. Oh, I can. I tried to comment on this earlier and it wouldn't let me. It's 11 people viewing this in the world right now. It's crazy. It says it right there. It's just 11 people viewing this in the world. Okay. So let's see who this other girl is. This Crystal Jackson. Who is this person? Husband and wife of OnlyFans. She ain't even that good looking. Look at this cuck. 50-year-old? 50-year-old? Hold on. If you were to get $500,000 a month for an hour of work a day, would you do it? Heck yeah, you would. While this seems like a scenario reserved for the stuff of fiction, Chris, along with his wife of 14 years, Crystal, says that that's been a reality for them since starting their erotic subscription-based OnlyFans page 2 years ago. We went into it just to have this fun marriage experience. Yeah, right. Crystal, 45. 45. Okay, so she's 45. She's not 50. And it's fun, she says. Crystal, who goes by Mrs. Poindexter. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, you're 45, all right. With a cliche name like that. Says there is no secret to their success outside of being open about what it is, what it isn't, featured on the site. What is? Images of her in sexy clothes, heels, and stockings, along with sensual stories from her past. What isn't? Porn, says Crystal. She makes that very clear. Who describes herself as being a modest and reserved real neighbor mom on the channel, which you just can access for a monthly $15 payment. That's it. $15, you can see my tits. The page has all but increased in popularity during the pandemic. A lot of cucks and simps. In February, the couple brought in as much as $150,000 per month before jumping to $50,000 by August, when people realized that this bitch is 45 years old and that they can actually just fuck people for free. See, I mean, this doesn't look like $50,000 a month material to me. And maybe I'm being a little harsh, you know, maybe I am. Maybe I'm being a little harsh on the gilf. But I'm just, don't know, man. That doesn't look like. I wouldn't even expect fucking, Sophie Vergara or whatever to I don't think it's her name anymore, to make that much. Not 50,000, but 150,000. Sophie's definitely in the 50,000 and more category. Cause so, I mean, let's, if you do the math here, what's 5 times 12, right? I'm too tired to figure it out myself, but it'd be 60. Okay. And then just tack on zeros. Ooh, sorry. So that's 5 times 12. So 50,000 a year. So it's 50 times 12. That's 600. Add on, so that's about $600,000 a year. So, I mean, that's pretty damn good. You're making a little more than $500,000 a year. So I ask of you, does that look like $500,000 a year to you? Okay. Now remember, according to the government, your 401k plan, having $1 million is enough to satisfy retirement, which probably is not true at all. Things like health and medical expenses come up and fuck people up, so that number is actually inaccurate. But just for the sake of argument, if that is the case, this bitch is beyond retirement. Anyway, back to reading. Crystal and Chris haven't been the only ones to find success through OnlyFans, which has become a prominent platform for users looking to offer subscription-based content. But on Thursday, the company announced a controversial decision to ban sexually explicit conduct on its platform. Yeah, I read about that. I heard about that. Oh, here's a video here.
A California mom is speaking out after she says her 3 sons were expelled from their Catholic school due to her presence on the adult social platform OnlyFans. Crystal Jackson tells People that she is infuriated by the response to her OnlyFans photos, which were leaked to Sacred Heart Parish School in Sacramento by other parents. This ultimately led to her 3 sons, who are 8, 10, and 12 years old.
Hold on. If you're making that type of... Why are you sending them to Sacred Heart? Come on, man. You know the Catholics, man. Shit, I mean, they might as well just be bots on the internet. They creeping everywhere. They're in the surface. They're in the dark web. They're in the deep web. They're all over the place, man. So come on, you acting like they wouldn't find out. Send them to a fucking public school. Let them be normal fucking kids. I mean, if you're gonna do this shit, I mean, because it said something about a 12-year-old.
And described by their mom as really good kids.
Hey man, I want to fuck your mom. No kid wants to go through that shit growing up. Like, hey dude, fucking got some lotion, and I saw your mom. You're gonna cause that kid to be either forced to fight in school his whole life or bullied, committing suicide. And it's your fault.
Kids getting kicked out of the school. Crystal calls the decision horrible and tells People, quote, "Take me down, that's fine, but leave my kids out of this." After going through some marital trouble that left them at the brink of divorce, she and her husband of 14 years turned to the subscription-based platform where users can sell access to their photo and video content, some of which are explicit in nature. She explains that she was missing the intimacy they initially had, so they decided to try different things to spice up their marriage. A little over a year later, she and her husband now make $150,000 per month for their daily photos and posts. And as a result of how successful her account became, Crystal says she feels sexy again and their marriage has gotten stronger. Her page consists of risque photos, all of which are, quote, pretty tame and do not include pornography. But in July, other parents found her account and it became a problem with a group of moms in the community who relentlessly urged that her sons be kicked out of the school. Crystal tells People that while her kids are upset about having to leave their school, they do not know the specifics around the situation other than, quote, Mom is a big internet model. Gigi.
I don't care about that. Okay. But you said to spice the relationship. So it can't just be you. You can't be the only one. This can't be what you're posting. Nobody, no cuck that I know, no simp that I know, and I know a lot about simping, would pay that much a month just to see mediocre, borderline, softcore porn images of you. Like, when you can just... I don't know. Maybe I don't understand the fan base. Maybe that's what's going on. Anyway, back to Florida girl here. A couple things I want to add, and I think you already know. But one of them is, she says, hey, let me make this wider here. I need you to focus on me a little bit. Okay, so one of the things she says is, what I do on my off time ain't no one's business. And I totally agree. If I want to dress up like a clown and go in the backyard and do cartwheels and shit like that at 2 o'clock in the morning, and that makes me feel good, and that's somehow, some way that's keeping me mentally stable, fuck it. As long as I'm not bothering the neighbors, and as long as I'm keeping a honk noise to a minimum. Or maybe I live out in the country, no one gives a shit. Which I do. I mean, I hear gunshots all the time. There ain't no police out here. Someone could be like, bitch, I'm gonna kill you for sleeping with your sister, you know, and nobody would hear it. Daddy, don't do that. Daddy, don't do that. No. People just think, oh, they're just target practicing again. You see what I'm saying? But the difference between me dressing up like a clown and you is, you're on the internet, you know? So it's not so private anymore, right? Right. So that's the first thing. But of course I would have to point that out. Because if that's your defense, I mean, just give it the fuck out. I mean, just leave it. Just let Beethoven Bach speak for you, because you're just gonna bury yourself in the ground. That ugly ass lawyer that you got. Because you just shut up. If that's your defense, no. They will crush you. Apparently, you learned nothing from Miss Anderson or the O.J. Simpson trials. So just let your lawyer do the talking for you, and just shut up. Now the second thing. So a parent is the one that found it. I want to know about that person. I want to know about that motherfucker. Like, nobody asked him, like, yo, what was you even doing on there? Like, oh, you know, I was just, you know, I'm kind of like the neighborhood safety watch, except I'm on the internet, making sure that people are not OnlyFans and licking and sucking on Pornhub. I mean, that's my job. I'm on the dark web checking to see if you know, any usernames matches any type of names of the parents and faculty at school. You know, yeah, I bought a couple kilos, but I was suspicious of the person. I just want to, you know, like, what happened to that motherfucker, right? And I guess to wrap this up in the titty bud, do I think it's right what the school did? Yeah. Bitch, get the fuck out of here. Like I said, you want to do that stuff, you need to be a little bit more discreet. Just like the other girl in California, like, that little joke I made, like, I knew people like that. Like, I was in the Marine Corps with a guy that his mom was literally a MILF. And I asked him one day, I was just like, when you were growing up and when your mom was picking you up from high school, like, he cut me off and he finished my sentence for me. He said, yeah, I fucking hate it. I hated it. I fought a lot of people in school because my mom would come and pick me up in booty shorts and shit like that, and you know, a lot of his friends be trying to get at his mom and all that. Like, no kid wants that shit, man. Telling you, think about the fucking kids. Don't think about you. And, you know, I don't know. There could have been a different way to go about it. I'm not judging you for doing OnlyFans, but what I am, like, trying to say, what the statement I'm making is, if you want to do shit with kids, then act like that person that wants to do shit with kids. Stop trying to mix and mingle shit and pull this whole Me Too shit and this whole left movement bullshit and be like, porn stars can get down and teach class too. And it's just like, okay, if what you say is true, then I should be able to teach motherfuckers, I should be able to be a driving instructor, and I have 4 DUIs, right? Don't judge me on my past, don't judge me on my life. I don't drink no more. Motherfuckers gonna be like, hell no, dog. Like, I'm glad you got your shit together, but maybe in about 10 years, you know, like, and that's just something I just accept. I don't. It's been 2 years since my last DUI, fuck you, you know? And then I think about it like this. Why the fuck would I want to be a driving instructor anyway? They're underpaid, they're understaffed. You know? I don't know. Why are you being a chaperone? What does that give you that OnlyFans doesn't give you? You know? Anyway, but remember, they're from Florida and California. So if that says anything, that says anything. Alright, let's check on the next thing that I saw that I want to announce. This doesn't have to do with porn or anything. It's just an article. I don't think it's a video. I don't think it is. No. Or maybe it is. Let's see.
Evacuate. Evacuate.
Seatbelts. Leave everything. Side exit. Go back.
You could have no obstruction, no fire, no water, go to open your exit, and it doesn't work. It's jammed. A lot of the times I think the perception is that we're waitresses in the sky. First and foremost.
Wait a minute, before I blow it up again. So this is about like airline hostesses and stuff, and how much they make and their struggles and shit like that. So wasn't really surprised, but some of it I was kind of like,
We are safety professionals. Anything that can happen on the ground can happen in the air. Come this way. Leave everything.
My name's Patrice Hillish.
And my name is Trelawney Bundridge. My nickname is Trull. We're here to show you what it takes to be a Delta Airlines flight attendant.
A lot of magic happens down here in the training center.
Over 195,000 applications come into Delta Airlines, and of those, 3,000 for this year alone will get to come through these doors and be a Delta Airlines flight attendant. Initial flight attendant training is 6 weeks of intense training. They start here in week 1 and they learn about the foundations of Delta Airlines. And then we go to week 3, and those are non-phase specific things like security, emergency management, medical situations that could happen on board the aircraft. And then week 6 is all about customer service. And so within those 6 weeks, we have a fully rounded Delta Airlines flight attendant who is ready to go out there on any aircraft. This area is what we call our mock-up areas, and these are aircraft that have been cut out from the desert. They've shipped them here, and our flight attendants...
Sorry. I'm just thinking about... Oh, shit. Like, if you ever seen this movie, it's called, it's with Nicolas Cage. It's called, he's like an arms trafficker or something like that. So anyway, there's this scene in the movie where, they gotta force land the plane, and they're in Africa, and, pretty much like the people of that village saw that, and they totally ripped that fucking plane apart. They took the wheels, they took the rims off the wheels, they took the window panes, they took the metal, they took the seats, they took every damn thing. So I was just thinking, like, who did they get to chop that? I don't know, man. I'm stupid.
Go into these mock-ups and they practice different types of scenarios.
A lot of what we do is very customer service driven.
Flight attendants are able to balance that customer service piece as well as being mindful of any type of emergency situation that could happen on board the aircraft. Studio is where we have all of our doors, windows, tail cone exits.
I'll talk through an evacuation here. After we've boarded the aircraft and we're ready to go, Trell is going to arm this door, which means if we open the door armed, we're going to get slide deployment. When we practice our evacuation, we want the door to be armed. All right, Trell, you ready?
No pressure.
No pressure. Here we go.
3, 4, landing.
Bend over, stay down, stay seated. Stay seated.
She's thinking about her commands, where her exits are. She's thinking about how to operate those exits, where her emergency equipment is. She's also thinking about people that got on board that could help her in an emergency.
You, help at the bottom. You, help at the bottom.
And she's also going to think about the people that got on who might need her assistance. We do want thinking flight attendants. We do operate with a lot of checklists, but in the end, sometimes things come down to a judgment call. We travel to different time zones, different countries, and maybe we can't sleep. And then you're expected to make good judgment calls, and you're expected to remember all your training and respond to emergencies and be Delta gracious and patient and all of that on lack of sleep as well sometimes.
What kind of word? Who made that shit
We are
up?
going to head to our motion-based trainer. It is our one and only trainer that does shake, does move.
Our flight attendants have a week of training for emergencies that could happen on board the aircraft and learning our different types of commands. This is one of them.
Evacuate. Evacuate.
Seatbelt. Leave everything. Side exit. Go back.
Come this way, leave everything, jump and slide. If you don't stay calm, then your anxiety will feed off of that person. It's definitely important to make sure you stay calm.
Got to.
Now, welcome to our ditching mock-up. We have a 767 mock-up, and the flight attendants have on their life vests, and they jump right in. And they work together as a team to handle ditching, getting into a raft, helping each other stay warm while they're waiting for rescue.
We like to take flight attendants, train them in these particular scenarios with the hope that they can take that knowledge and transfer it out to a real live aircraft. And when those situations happen in real life, their training kicks in. One of our most common emergencies is medical emergencies.
When there's someone who has a heart attack in the aisle, I know where the medical equipment is on board the aircraft, and I'm fully able to handle those types of situations.
Are you okay? Are you okay? I'm Patrice, I'm a flight attendant, I can help. Typically on the aircraft, there would be 3 of us involved in this scenario. There would be an assessor, a collector, and a communicator. I was the assessor. Troll was my collector. She brought me my equipment, and then she stayed with me the whole time. The third person that we would usually have is our communicator. Communicator is going to be talking to the flight deck. They're going to be paging for medical assistance. They're going to be trying to get in touch with StatMD. They're going to be filling out our medical assistance form or helping us do that in some way. Clear?
Stop now.
Clear?
Do not touch the patient.
Anything that can happen on the ground can happen in the air. So we have to be mindful of always being gracious, but in the back of our mind, always thinking of the other things that could possibly happen on board the aircraft. And knowing that we're fully trained to handle any type of situation. Flight attendants have to maintain a 90% average within the 6 assessments that they take.
But once a flight attendant leaves and graduates and is a flight attendant flying out there on the line, their training isn't over. We have something called continuing qualification, and that is where flight attendants that are qualified and out there flying have to requalify every 18 months. They come back to training and they do have to be proficient in their door evacuations, in their EMV scenarios, CPR, security. We do hold them to a pretty high standard.
And so being calm, being patient is something that we learn and we also give feedback on so that when they are on the line as an active flight attendant, they're able to handle any situation.
Y'all like that now, don't you? I feel good about that. All right, good. Close the door. There you go.
They said, no fucker, don't talk to us.
Stay down. Bend over. Stay down.
I said, don't fucking talk to us, man. We busy. We busy trying to recover from this bankruptcy, motherfucker. So, I didn't even want to go into the whole video. I just want to talk about what some of these people are saying. She's like, some of us are making $150,000 a year thanks to the overtime. But I've heard the horror stories, and I'm just like, okay, let me read this. Flight attendant for an American airline who has to remain anonymous said they're in their opportunity to earn a lot of overtime. They also deal with people who refuse to wear a mask. Here's their story. You've probably seen that the industry is struggling. There have been serious staff shortages. Some airlines have canceled a large number of flights. I've been flying for about 6 years. Though at the height of the pandemic I was furloughed. Now it's the opposite. Now I'm really flying. My airline has hired about 1,000 new flight attendants and is also bringing on board about 1,100 new hires who were pushed out of training when the pandemic starts. See, that's that. Get the fuck out of the way, bitch. I make about $5,000 a month. Sure, it ain't OnlyFans, but fuck it. I still got some type of dignity left. And business people still want to fuck me. So I make about $5,000 a month if I work 18 days that month. If you're doing some overtime, you're looking at around $7,000 a month. Still not OnlyFans, but it's enough for me to chill the fuck out. There are some flight attendants, we call them senior mamas, who work 150 to 200 hours a month at up to $69 per hour. God damn. To me, that's absurd. But they're pulling in about $150,000 a year. We're not like pilots who are limited to 100 flight hours a month. Normal flight hours for someone like me is about 85 flight hours per month. Now, when it comes to picking your flight route, now this is the crazy part. You'll only get places like Hawaii and Frankfurt if you have the seniority. We're talking 40 years at the airline sometimes. For someone at my level, I can more or less pick and choose what I want. There are different layers of routes, and your requests are put into a computer. Then, based on everyone's seniority, it tells you what you get. I really like the food and beer in the upper Midwest, so I mostly pick that shit. We receive our monthly schedule in advance. Generally, flights are open to bids between the 12th and the 15th of the month, and by the 18th, you'll know the next month's schedule. Now, if you're coming from San Fran, you know everyone's gonna play ball. They're talking about masks and shit. Once you get to Atlanta, not so much. I ain't wearing no goddamn mask. God darn it. Please, sir. Please put on the mask. I hate to say it, but it's political. Where the state went in the last presidential election can tell you where you're going to have problems with people refusing to wear those fucking masks. In Florida, you got none but tourists, but at Georgia, the Carolinas, Louisiana, that's where you get people kicking up about the mask. But I'm a bit of an anomaly. I'm 6'4" and 240 pounds. God dang, it's a big bitch. Once a gentleman started yelling at two female colleagues because a drink cart was blocking the aisle. I went to him and said, "Hey, you need to behave." And he sat quietly in his seat for the rest of the time. I bet he did. To tell you the truth, most people calm down from acting like a jerk, they realize that they've acted like one. If I ask somebody to cover their face, they fucking do it. I personally haven't encountered a problem, but I've heard horror stories, and this is what I want to know. What are the horror stories? Stories from my colleagues about having to call the po-po. When I say horror stories, it's actually a fairly straightforward process. Recently, my friend had to call the police to meet the airplane because a man refused to put on his mask. The captain said, "Everybody please remain seated. We're going to have some folks board the aircraft." The cops came on board, and the person was fucking kicked off. I'll say that our pilots, the captains in particular, absolutely have our backs. They'll brief us before every flight and say, if anybody goofs off, if anybody has a mask problem, you let us know, and we will make sure that they are removed. Recently, I had a captain who said he prided himself on kicking people off the airplane if they were being rude to us or other passengers. That's something that I think is important. Now, I can't read the rest of the article. Yeah, I can't read the rest of the article because I'd have to pay, and I'm not doing that. So, I guess we'll never know the horror stories, but I'm just like, what horror stories? Like, if it ain't dealing with the terrorist, and if it ain't figuring out how to fly when that plane goes down, then what horror stories? Because if you're making $150K a year, you can sneeze on me and kick me in the balls all day, as long as I'm wearing a cup, and I'll be cool with that. Because remember, she said 18 flights. She said, I mean, you're not even working the whole month. You're not even working 20 days a month. You're working 18. Now, I'm not saying this isn't a hard job. I'm pretty sure it is. I bet they deal with people that are acting an asshole all the time, and some of them are put in those situations. But I'm just saying, like, what horror stories are you talking about? If it's not stories directly related to the safety of you and the others. Because everything else, like, if you can't take the heat, get the fuck out of the kitchen, you know what I'm saying? And I guess this goes back to, hey, JR, would you do that? Fuck no, I wouldn't do that. It sounds like a dream, though, don't it? I mean, you get to go all these different places and meet all these different people, but no. You see, I don't like people. I hate people. Okay? I don't want to go all the way to Japan, chill out for about a day or two, and be forced to go back to, called to South Dakota or something where I gotta stay. Like, I would hate that. When I travel, I want freedom. And when I say freedom, I ain't talking about just a day or two or even a week. When I travel, I want complete anonymity, and I want to do whatever I want to do, and you can't do that with those jobs. Sure, you can party on the weekend or whatever, you'll feel like shit on the next flight, but you know, hey, if that's the life you want to live, that's the life you want to live. If you don't, what does she say? She likes beer. Have a fucking beer. But that's not the life for me. Again, I wouldn't be able to deal with those people, because you know, and I've been on a lot of flights, and I've seen people, including myself, I mean, acting an asshole, and I wouldn't be able to put up with that shit for probably 3 days, let alone half a year. So I want to thank all you guys that do that. I know a lot of you don't do it for the money, or maybe you do, I don't know. Fucking thank you anyway, because someone has to do it. I need some crackers, you know. Someone has to wipe my ass, and I ain't feeling too good. So that's it. That's all I got. Thanks.